Look, welcome back. Back like we never left, right?
Right, man. Thanks for having me. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally got a chance to hop on the call with you, brother.
Look, you said finally, but look, I tell everybody, I said we got an entire lifetime for this. You know?
Like that. I like that. It's a good perspective.
People living with type 1 diabetes, our lives are more so extended than others because of how we have to know the wherewithal within our health and everything. You know?
Up alive every day.
So
keep myself alive every day, brother.
Every day. And when we say that, people truly don't understand what we mean by keeping ourselves alive every day. They be like, I do also. But they don't have the inner workings that it is living with type 1 diabetes. Like, there's so many intangibles to it. Pulls and pushes, throbs. But we do it. We wake up, put our shoes on, big boy pants, make it happen.
Do that, do life, do everything else in life, plus that.
Right.
Like, I can't, there's never been a day that I have not thought about my work, my job, my family, and not thought about diabetes. It all is everything. I have a bad day at work, I still got to take care of my body. I have a great day at work, I still got to take care of my body.
Right.
I run a good marathon. It's just so much, bro. It's so much. You're right.
Right. All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
Let's roll, brother.
All right. Welcome to the Chronically Well podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard. On today's episode, I get to take a trip down south a bit, stop in Durham, North Carolina, where I get to meet with Steve. Steve, this is the first time ever that this has happened on this podcast. Do you know what that first thing is?
Can't be another black man, because that's crazy.
No, not another black man.
Look, that'd be wild.
But it's the first time I have actually met someone in real life before recording with them.
Word. Okay.
Word.
That's what's up.
So it was meant to be.
Yeah.
God's
that's why we waited. That's why we waited. That's why we kept pushing the days back.
Right. It wasn't part of our plan, part of God's plan, So my brother Steve, I think we met it's probably going on 2 years now.
Something like that, bro.
I know I first reached out to you when I was doing the Diabetes Looks Like Who campaign for 2023 maybe?
Maybe 23.
It was November, 2023. Because I'm going into my 4th year of doing those campaigns, even though I'm trying to transition it and have someone else go with it. But yeah, when I reached out to you, you were like, for sure. He was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, whatever. And I appreciate you for that. And another connection you and I both have are our love for Duke basketball.
I'm still hurt, bro.
And I don't know if you know this, like, I know where I am, where I grew up, like, everybody's a Carolina fan, a Tar Heel fan, everybody.
So it's mixed down here. So I'm in Durham. So I'm right in the thick of it, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hills, triangle. So, half is Durham, half is Duke, half is Carolina. I can talk about the other shade of blue, but I'm still hurt, man, over that loss to Houston. So
I feel you. But yeah, Steve is someone that I know outside of the diabetic online community, that space, because we recently met up this past weekend. And brother, I'm going to let you know, you are the life of the party. You're needed in this space because without you, the circle wouldn't be full. Serious.
I appreciate it.
Your light deserves to shine, my man. For real. And I see it. It. You shining bright.
Be me, man. I'm only me. It's all I can be. So I appreciate that, for real.
Right. So Steve, could you please give our audience a summary of who you are?
Cool. So what's up, everybody? I am Steven Kennedy. I'm 33. I'll be 34 in a few weeks. I'm from Durham, as you heard, Durham, North Carolina. I'm married, 5 years coming up in September. I've had type 1 diabetes. It'll be 21 years, December the 21st of this year. So I was diagnosed when I was 13 years old in middle school, eighth grade Christmas. I left out the hospital Christmas morning. So diabetes has been, part of my life for 21 years. I'm able to drink now with my diabetes. Outside of diabetes, like I said, I'm from Durham. I work with youth in Durham, helping them get jobs, placement, and mentorship. I've been doing that since I graduated. Went to the North Carolina Central University, Eagle Pride. I pledged Omega Psi Phi fraternity at North Carolina Central University. That's the Tall Side chapter. No kids, just my wife and I. We love to travel, like really love to travel. Like we like to travel a lot. And we work out. I don't want to say I'm super fit, but I cycle, I run, I ran a couple marathons, running 2 marathons this year. Love to play golf. I am probably a plus 18 to 20 handicap, so I'm not that good, but I do like to play golf. I love to hang out with my friends, and I can keep going on. But yeah, that's me. I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert at heart.
You truly are.
I've never met a stranger. I probably get that from my mom. But I also enjoy being alone, which is crazy. Like I love being with folks, but I actually love to be alone. Like Saturday night, was probably my favorite night because I went out with the group for about an hour. They was about to go somewhere else. I went to Chipotle. I got my Chipotle, and I ended up watching the game from my phone in the room, and I was happy. I was so satisfied. So I'm an extroverted introvert. But yeah, I love people, love community, love talking. So thank you for having me here. It's crazy that I'm the first person that you met before interviewing them. So that's kind of cool.
Yes, the first person. I've met many people after recording, but not before. And while we was linked up this past weekend, I was thinking about that. I was like, this must be the plan for real. I said I get to really understand Steve's energy and feel it because, through the screen, I see your energy. But I wasn't,
Yeah.
I couldn't feel it. Even though I know you'd be like, yo, gotta feel this. Yo, gotta feel this. I'm here. I'm in person. I'm live. But I was telling someone this past weekend, I said, if Steve wasn't here, this party wouldn't be the party it is. Like he was needed in the reunion, like to set off some things. I appreciate you and how much you like just bring people in. You're like, oh, you over there hanging in the corner? Come on. I got you. You don't even gotta do nothing, but I got you. And
that was me, man.
Growing up, right?
That was me, yo. I was grew up, like I said, from Durham. We moved around a lot. Like I probably went to 7 or 8 different elementary schools. Let me see, like 6 elementary schools, went to 3 or 4 different middle schools. Only went to 1 high school, but even during high school, we moved around a lot. I'm saying all that to say, like, I remember middle school, it was rough. Keep moving around. You're always a new kid, so you're kind of just like the weird new kid. I didn't have a lot of friends, and when I had friends, every time we moved schools, so it's like I gotta make new friends. We weren't I wasn't the flyest guy then. I didn't have all the shoes, so that also was weird. I was also the shy little weird skinny kid. When I talked, sometimes my voice would crack, and for some reason I would talk to myself. I still talk to myself now, but it was weirder back then. So. I was the guy sometimes in the corner with my little group of like nerd friends, just kind of being us. And I was that guy growing up. So when I went to college, I figured out who I was, and I kind of blossomed into being who I am now. And like, if I see somebody, I'm going to try to talk with everybody. I think I purposely yes, I know we here with the Black group, and but like any group of people, I'm just like, yo, what's up? I'm gonna stand here for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna talk, and then I'm gonna go over here. And if I see you just sitting by like you said, I just want to know who you are. I just want to connect, and I try to find a commonality somewhere. If it's me, you do. If it's oh, I like those shoes. If it's something, music, something, I can look at your outfit and say, oh, that's fly. And you might end up talking about whatever it is. So I love to just be around people and love to kind of interact and listen and get to learn.
Right.
And also really just like, hey, I just like people and I like to talk. Like I said, I get it from my mom for sure.
Right. And you also, I mean, you remember little skinny, scrawny Steve, as you said, in the corner talking to himself. Like, you remember that. You remember,
Yeah.
like, and you don't want anybody to be that person. Even, I mean, that could be them and their personality, how their way of life, how they go about, but you know that I can embrace you.
Yeah.
I can embrace you. We're one and the same, man. We look, when you're telling this story, I'm like, I remember one of the first messages I sent to you, and that's how my memory goes. You told me, you're like, I'm from the hood. You probably don't remember that, but you was like, I'm from the hood. And I was like, I'm from the hood too. And that was you was probably the first person I came across, black male in this space that was equally from the hood. And I could see the work that you were doing as a mentor, because when you say like you help young people, young adults get jobs and like the mentorship program, like I remember, I'm like, did this type of work for many years. I ran mentorship programs, youth mentorship programs. And when I see your profile and I see you across social media, sometimes I get a glimpse of myself. I'm like, I remember this. And I know how much joy it brought to my heart. So I know it brings joy to your heart, because you know that people, young people that are blossoming, haven't been able to truly reap the benefits and the fruits of their labor, yet are able to grow, and you're able to help nurture that seed.
Yeah, for sure. They get on my nerves, but you gotta love them, man. You gotta meet them where they are. It might take 6 months for something you told them 6 months ago to actually make sense to them, and they start doing it, and it finally sinks in. But it's well worth it to keep me, I guess, youthful. At this point, I'm the OG now. You know, I'm working with students and young men who were born in, I don't know, 06, and I was in high school in 06, so that sounds really weird. But it's definitely worth it. And yeah, they keep, like I said, keep me young, keep me youthful. And I really just, it's my passion, man, working with those young adults, young men, for sure.
Right. And you're going to have some people, even after, I mean, even if you ever transition into another career, you're going to have people that come around there looking for you. They'll be like, yeah, where Mr. Steve at? Where's he at?
Yeah, the impact, man. It's the impact, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Impact and influence.
Yeah.
Right. So you said you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in the 8th grade. When I think about 8th grade, I think about like me and my best friends just exploring life, the girls. That's the big things. And it was a big transition. You know, you're about to go into high school, but for a growing young man, coming from, I know my way of life, it felt like at 13, 14, I was forced into adulthood kind of early and having to take on a lot of responsibilities. When you were diagnosed at 13, that 4 days before Christmas, coming out the hospital on Christmas Day, how much of that responsibility was yours?
That's a good question. So it was a shock to the whole family. So at the time, it was 7 of us. So it was my mom, it was my grandma, my mom, my aunt, me, my older brother, and my 2 younger sisters. We were all 7. We were all in, we stayed together, 2-bedroom apartment off Hardee Street, which is in Durham, which is like, you don't want to be off Hardee Street for sure. So it's technically like the hood. And when I was going to Tuning Middle School, and I just remember being sick. Christmas break, I'm at home watching cartoons. I'm just eating Froot Loops, because that's what kids do when they're home. They eat food, whatever's in the house. I ate a whole, like, legit family size box of Froot Loops, and got sick, went to the hospital, the whole 9. But to answer your question, coming out of the hospital, it was more of a family thing, because I was the first person in my family to like to have diabetes, or in my immediate family to have type 1.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. 2 years later, my older brother, he also has type 1 diabetes, but he got it like 2 years after me. Yeah, it was more of a family thing. I remember leaving the hospital, like my mom and my aunt were the ones who were like super focused on making sure I took my shots, making sure I pricked my finger, because obviously Dexcom wasn't a thing in '04. But yeah, like they made sure I did all those things, made sure I ate. And even I remember going to Hardee's. We always go to Hardee's because Hardee's was like down the street from us. We would like walk or catch the bus to Hardee's. And back then, Hardee's had that low carb burger, and the lettuce on it. And I only could eat the low carb burger, and they kept like I only have like 15 to 20 fries per meal, and the Diet Cokes and things like that. So when I first got diagnosed, honestly, it was more my fam. They actually helped my mom, my aunt for sure. Like it helped me to figure it out. And then with the medical staff, the teams at Duke University, Dr. Jean, I can't remember her last name. It's like Littman or something like that. I cannot remember her last name, but like she really was on me for sure. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it those first few years without that familial support for sure.
Right. That community came to you in that time of need. And I mean, you were 13, so you were still your mama's baby, your grandma's baby. And
I was a big boy. I was a big boy at that time. I have a 14-year-old brother, so not anymore.
But you deserved people standing up for you. You deserved the best medical care, which I'm sure you got from the Duke University, because it's by far one of the top tier across the nation, if not the globe. And you said that family support, and this was before your brother was even diagnosed. So it was like, I want to say like when he was diagnosed, it was almost like you were the big brother now.
Yeah.
Because you may have looked up to him, but he was like looking at you now.
Yeah, because I'm at that point, maybe 2 or 3 years. It was definitely like 2 years. I remember it was root beer for him, killing some root beer, just going crazy, root beer, him and his best friend. And we as soon as he got the symptoms, we already knew, like, oh, like for me, I got the symptoms. Nobody knew. I was at home all day. I remember my mom was at work, and my mom was the only person in the house who drove. And I remember just like, I kept using the bathroom. I was feeling terrible. I was just like laid out in the middle of the kitchen floor, just laid out. I think I was cold and I felt hot, or I was hot and I felt cold. It's one of those two. I don't remember. And I remember my mom got home. It was like, something wrong with him, take him to the hospital. So with my brother, I peeped as soon as like he was peeing like a lot in the last couple of days. I'm like, bro, you good? Like, you keep going to the bathroom. And then he's like, yeah, I ain't feeling good. And he was like getting skinny, like real. He got real skinny. Like my brother's skinny. We're both like skinny, but you can see like his facial structure skinny. So he's like, bro, you might need to go to the hospital, bro. You might have diabetes or something. Like we kind of were on top of it. And then obviously it turned out that because of, like you said, because I had it, I could recognize the symptoms, and we were much more equipped to like handle his diagnosis.
Right. Because you were what, like 16, maybe?
Yeah, I was like 14, 15, going on 16 at the time. I remember it was summertime, so it might have been close to my birthday.
Right. So that made him upwards of 17, 18.
My brother is 3 years older than me. So like, yeah, 17, 18. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he was diagnosed. So both of y'all being diagnosed as teenagers had to be a lot. Like being in school, when you went back to school, I don't know if you were this extrovert then, but like
I agree.
Yeah, I've spoken to a bunch of people who mentioned like when they went back to school, unbeknownst to them, the entire school already knew that they had diabetes, and they already knew like so-and-so was in the hospital and they're sick and whatever. How was that for you going back to school?
So for me, it was not like that, because at that time, I was at tuning. We had literally just got to tuning. We had just, because we moved around a lot. So I probably wasn't even in tuning for, this is second semester, basically, or second term. Maybe like I was only at tuning for like a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months, because I did the first 9 weeks at Lowe's Grove. And then right after the first 9 weeks, we moved, and then I started junior. So nobody, again, no one knew me for really, other than like the teachers and staff. And it wasn't global news because nobody knew who I was. So when I got back, I remember the night before, I legit sat in the hallway. Again, we got a 2-bedroom apartment. Was it 2 or 3? 1, 2, might have been 3. Might have been 3-bedroom. I sat in the hallway, in the middle of the hallway, so everybody could hear me. I was crying. Obviously, I wanted some attention, but I was just like, I don't want to go back. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to go back. People gonna pick on me. So I remember going to school early that morning with my mom. We went to the nurse's office, had like a whole, I don't know, meeting with the nurses, and gave her my insulin and my glucagon and all those things. So it was just a shock for me, but it wasn't national school news. Again, I was not known, and it was just, make sure you go to the nurse's office twice a day. Make sure you do this before you eat your lunch. If you're feeling bad, like the teachers knew and the nurses knew, and maybe the principal, because the principal was really cool with my mom and my family for some reason. Like the principal really looked out, but it wasn't like national news for sure. And then we went on a trip to Seattle later that spring. And that was a big deal because, again, I have diabetes, but I'm going on this trip. How are we going to do this? So the nurses, the principal, like the teachers, everybody kind of rallied around to make sure that I was good.
So you were the new kid. So probably to a lot of your peers at school, like that was their norm, seeing you that way. Like new kid with diabetes. Like it came hand in hand. And
yeah.
I was wondering if it was because we know today that type 1 diabetes, like you have the auto antibodies for it, and it will develop. It doesn't say when it will develop along your lifetime, but it will develop. But we know that also there's experiences that can occur that can push forward the onset of it. So like, whether it's a traumatic experience, and that traumatic experience can be physically or emotionally, that can push you forward. So I was wondering if like, because you did mention like going to different schools, and at that time, that moment, basically you had just transitioned into a new middle school, if you were dealing with any type of like trauma then, because you were crying and everything, like.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't pre-diagnosis or like when I was like getting diagnosed.
Say that again.
Like pre-diagnosis or like getting diagnosed?
Pre-diagnosis.
Yeah, I don't know. Normal school. I mean, I don't know what stress I had from moving a lot, but like, no, I think it was just normal. I was a normal kid. I ate a lot of sugar. I did eat a lot of candy. And I always, so I ate a lot of candy, and I would sell candy. Like I would like go to the store before.
I remember.
I would like go to, because we lived at this point in time. Our bus stop was like, we lived in an apartment complex, and like there was a Kroger right there before the bus stop. So I would go in the morning, buy candy from Kroger, get on the bus, sell candy. But I was. It was like Jolly Rancher Chewy joints. Or something like that. I would tear those joints up. Like I would put them together and make like a freaking mash ball thing. And I would eat candy. I would eat candy all day, every day. And I remember, I think I still say words are powerful, because I remember telling folks, didn't even know anything about diabetes, but I would always eat candy. And they're like, why you always eat candy? I'm like, yeah, because I got diabetes. And I was just like, this is like me sixth, seventh grade for sure. I remember middle school, I was just selling candy out my book bag, out my bag, Gatorades, whatever I could get my hands on. But I was always eating candy too. So I don't know if that had a part to play in it. It might have sped it up because
nah.
But no trauma, man. I was just like a normal kid.
Okay, nah. We going to get rid of that stigma where people think, oh, this kid ate too much candy. Nah, you could have had what the kids do today, make the candy salads. You could have had a whole candy salad filled with Jolly Ranchers, Twizzlers, lemon heads, everything. They had the whole shebang, all of the gummies, everything. That wouldn't have gave you diabetes, brother. But upon diagnosis, being a 13-year-old, like that's all you knew related to
Yeah.
diabetes was sugar. And that's how many of
Yeah,
us
I didn't
felt.
even understand it. Yeah, so I'm in the hospital. They're like, yeah, they're doing my ketones. They check my blood sugar. My ketones are high. My sugar was like 600 or something. I don't know. They're like, you have diabetes. And I'm like, okay. This is literally my reaction. Like, okay. And they were like, do you know what diabetes is? I was like, yeah, something to do with sugar. Yeah. That was my actual reaction. And then like they started explaining to me like not everything, but like what this meant. And then I was like, oh, I didn't, I was not aware. I did not know. I knew diabetes. In my mind at the time, sugar and diabetes were synonymous, and that's all I really knew about diabetes.
Was it more so like, because I know what I thought. I thought, okay, eliminate sugar, basically eliminate diabetes. Even if they say it's with you forever, I would think that the lingering or ongoing complications, even right there in the moment, how you would feel, like if you just got rid of the sugar, like I'm okay. Because I remember when I
Yeah,
was diagnosed, I was the most fit, strong, young person. Like I had this routine where I would do 1,200 push-ups, 1,500 sit-ups per day, all the calisthenics. I ran, biked for miles, like, and I was like, how did I get diabetes? I'm looking at everybody else like, how did I get diabetes compared to everyone else? When like, I guess the
yeah.
diet gods was like, it's your turn, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely had that feeling a lot. Like I've had that feeling, but I'm also just like, I mean, it's a gift and I hate saying cliches like it's a gift and a curse because I
Uh-huh.
don't feel like it's a curse, but it's a gift. And I've been able to obviously thrive and live with diabetes and in some capacity, I guess, inspire others who look like me, inspire younger folks, older folks, to just like, oh, Steve, we know you have diabetes, which is great, but outside of that, like diabetes doesn't define who you are. And it's something we deal with, something I deal with, but at the end of the day, like I have a life to live, so I'm gonna live it to the fullest.
Yeah, diabetes is just a part of you. It's not
Mhm.
it's not the greatest part of you either.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like you're a black man in America.
Hello.
You're a mentor, your husband, your brother, your son, your grandchild. Like you have all of these other things. It's just a part of it. And if you didn't have this part of you, then you wouldn't be full. You wouldn't be able to
Facts.
have the relationships that you said you've built, the communities that you're a part of, that you've helped build. You wouldn't be able to share with other people this story of who you truly are. Like diabetes is a part of us.
Yeah.
Um, I did want to ask, like growing up, like in middle school, high school, even your college years, did you see like a lot of people, like, did they have misunderstandings of who you were or what diabetes was or how it presented to them from you,
What's the last part of that question?
or how diabetes presented from you towards them?
Um, so definitely a lot of misconceptions. So obviously eighth grade happened. Then I go to Hillside, all 4 years. And I ran, cross country and track. Hillside, also during my like sophomore year, I went to the hospital like 3 times, 2 or 3 times, just DKA. I'm out here just wilding, eating whatever I want, not taking my medicine, just not caring. Diabetes, whatever. Off campus lunch, yeah, let me go to Chick-fil-A, we get the milkshake, let me go to Wendy's, let me get my Frosty, let me go to Burger King, let me get whatever, and just not taking my medicine. But the folks around me, like my homies who are still my homies now, they knew I had diabetes, but they didn't understand it. And like now they definitely understand it. Like, but then they saw me eating whatever and it was like, okay. Like my homie Ronnie, his mom, she was a nurse and she would get on me when I would stay with him. Like, Steve, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be eating that. What are you doing? But outside of her, no one ever like, they just thought, hey, okay, he's got diabetes. All right, cool. Like it's normal. I would go and like leave class sometimes to go to the nurse's office, which was a normal thing to do. I remember just talking to the nurses sometimes in the hallway. I'm like, yeah, I'm high right now. I remember vividly, I was having a conversation with a nurse at Hillside's a black high school also, but like, I'm like, yeah, I'm real high right now. And the dude walked past me like, bro, you saying that to the nurse, bro? Are you crazy? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, bro, you just high. Like, I'm like, I don't smoke, bro. I'm, my blood sugar. So like, so into the average person, especially my friends and other folks, they really didn't understand it. Like I said, outside of Ronnie's mom, who checked me when I was there, no one really like gave me any pushback. They had some questions, but it was a normal thing to not really talk about. I really didn't talk about it, to be honest.
Right. And you didn't talk about it as like it wasn't you were hiding it. It was yours. You know?
Yeah. I can't say I wasn't hiding it. I definitely did, or was not as aware of anything. Like I was not taking care of my body like I am now.
Right.
In high school or college. Like I don't know how I made it through college to be
Young and resilient.
bro. I have no idea. Like I probably checked my blood sugar like twice a month. I don't know. I was wilding, and that might be a stretch, but I was not. College, I was just doing college stuff, drinking, partying, like all the good stuff. Super involved in everything on campus. Super involved, like everything. I did everything I could at North Carolina Central University. But diabetes was something known to folks that I had it, especially like my junior and senior years. I started doing a lot more about, I walk for diabetes. I did a whole lot of stuff for diabetes, like walk, skate, fundraisers. I just did a lot on my junior and senior years, but it still wasn't it was a topic now within, but high school, it was just something I had and people knew about it, but that was it.
Right. Because you probably, I mean, like you said, you played all the sports and everything, like, but you like diabetes was there, but it wasn't in the front.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, oh, I'll eat at 1:00. I'll take a medicine at 6, maybe. And I just guesstimate, oh, I don't know. What I eat today? I don't know what I eat. And then I'll just take my medicine, which is crazy because in high school and college, there were like not that many times that my sugar ever got low, but probably because also my sugar was extremely high during those years. So it didn't matter what amount of medicine I took. It was just like, I don't know. I survived and I don't know how again. I'm thankful.
And I'm going to tell you from the ages of probably 20 to maybe 26 or so, like I know for a fact that diabetes, like today, I know it was probably because of diabetes, certain things were happening. Like I remember I used to think that I had food poisoning sometimes and I'd be on the floor like puking my guts out. But today we know like I was in DKA.
Yeah.
Like somehow I fought through that, and now I don't know if it's because like I was this super athletic guy involved. Like I'm telling you, I worked out and exercised probably at least 6 to 8 hours per day, just doing stuff like doing anything, just staying active. And I did not know that diabetes at that time could possibly kill me because I was young and resilient. Like we had so many things that have backed us against the wall coming up where we're like, diabetes isn't going to take me out. I done had, by the age of 20, I done had 12, 13 homies that were no longer here. So diabetes was not going to be the one, no matter what.
Right.
So that's part of, diabetes was there, but it did not break us.
Yeah, I vividly remember, same as you. A few times. I remember once, when me and my line brothers went to New Orleans for a trip. It might have been Conclave, Mega Sci-Fi Conclave, like 2016, 2018, one of those 2 years. And you in New Orleans, you know New Orleans, Bourbon Street, you're drinking. And I remember on the way back, like we drove, me and my two LBs drove from Durham there, I don't know, 12, 13-hour drive. The whole way back, I'm just on the back seat, like, I was just hurt. Like my muscles was tight. It was bad, cramping. I'm taking insulin, but I'm like really like I'm out of it the entire way. And I probably threw up a few times. I'm thinking back, I'm like, yeah, I definitely was probably in DK from that weekend. But I got back, just kept taking medicine. Somehow I went down a couple of days later. I was like, okay, good to go. I didn't think about it. Oh, like I'm in DK. I was like, oh, I'm not feeling well, probably because I'm a sugar high. So yeah, definitely got a couple of those memories for sure.
All that time we were taking insulin blindly. That's what's crazy when you think about it. Like not checking the blood sugar, but still giving insulin, just guessing how many units I need.
And I'm saying the crazy thing is, I never got low. Like I didn't have many low blood sugars. Granted, again, my sugar was probably so high, like it didn't even affect it. I could have took 10 units and it would have been like, oh, thank you, finally. But yeah, I didn't really start getting low blood sugars until like 2 years after college is when they started to kind of switch. But also I think I was more like my diabetes management was a little better. So obviously, hopefully the insulin I took started working more. And this is still pre-Dexcom, pre-getting any type of CGM. I was mostly pricking my finger as well.
Now, do you remember early on if you were like when you were diagnosed, were you on like Lantus and Humalog or Novolog, or were you on like a 70-30 mix?
I was on Lantus because I remember I still have one of the vials in my bathroom. I don't know why I have it. It's like I remember it's like a tall, skinny vial, gray with like some purple lettering or writing on it.
That's it.
I was on Lantus and Humalog. Lantus and Humalog. I think I might have tried to do the 70-30 at one point. It didn't work. I didn't like it. It didn't work well. So they Lantus and Humalog for as long as I can remember. Now I'm on Tresiba and Novolog.
I asked that because I remember when I was on, like, I remember being on a 70-30 mix for probably about 5-6 years. And when I was on that, I never had lows and stuff. But when I went on to like Lantus, like when I went on to a basal and a bolus, I started getting lows. And I'm like, no one told me this was a part of diabetes. Like I didn't know that at all until I was found in the bathroom seasoned, bit off half my tongue.
Wow. Who found you?
So at that time I was at a girlfriend's house. This is probably like 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. And her actual stepdad found me in the bathroom and the door was locked and I'm on the ground, steady kicking the door. And he breaks in and I'm on the ground, blood all over the place, bloody mess.
Post college, I'm living with roommates. I had too many low blood sugars that I can remember. A few times, like one time I left my house, 5 o'clock traffic to go to work. I worked at an ice cream shop at the time. Leave my house. My homie Ronnie sitting in the living room. All right, bro, I have a Coke in my hand because I know my blood sugar is low. I'm drinking a Coke as I leave. Next thing I remember, waking up on the side of the road.
Crash?
Like 4 exits. No crash. Thank God. 4 exits down on the side of the road. Some dude is just, stop the car. Stop, like yelling at me. I'm on the side. He's like, you hit 2 people. Da, 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 da. I didn't hit anybody. But like, I guess he saw me swerving. And somehow, again, by the grace of God, I'm still alive. All I remember was leaving my house, saying, all right, to Ronnie, and then waking up like 7 to 8 minutes of my life driving a car on the highway during 5 o'clock traffic. I don't remember anything, but that was a time scary. A few other times waking up, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, like, thank God it would only happen. My low blood sugars would happen when she was like spending the night with me. And when she was spending the night with me, she was just always like finding me just passed out, and my roommates and her would have to like sugar, honey, whatever they needed to like get me to wake up. So I've had way too many than I like to remember. And my wife, she probably remembers all of them.
I'm glad that like being able to have these conversations, if not for these conversations, I wouldn't truly know that you had similar experiences to myself, and you wouldn't know that equally. Because like, I remember all of those days Like some of the memories are like fuzzy, but those severe lows, I remember. Yeah, like one time dropping my mom off at work, and then going probably about 2 miles from my house, and I get home and I'm shaking, and a neighbor calls the cops. The cops knock on the door, and he's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Look at the front of your car. Whole bumper crash, like split in half, hanging on the ground."
Wow.
And they trace it back. I actually hit the telephone pole right before my house. And I'm in the house, like, as soon as I walk in the house, my wife's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Nah," and I can't explain it.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
yeah,
can't explain it.
yeah.
And she's giving me orange juice. And to this day, I don't like orange juice. I like it, but I won't purposely drink
Yeah.
it because it reminds me of things like that. Um,
Yeah.
Today, do you live with any fears from your past experiences of having diabetes?
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. Me personally, no. And maybe that's just because like I'm alive. And so like I don't have that anxiety. But if like speaking of my wife, like she's anxious. She gets anxious. Like even me traveling this weekend, like not anytime I'm apart, but she used to travel a lot for work. So like me traveling this weekend, I'm making sure my phone's on loud, making sure that like, hey, if my sugar goes low in the middle of the night, she can contact me. But no, I mean I've accepted it. Like I'm more cautious about it. Like I'll definitely keep my phone on loud and keep my alarms up. But no, I don't think I have any fears, to be honest.
My wife's the same way. I think she has more anxiety over the blood sugars than I do.
I've always asked her, like, yo, can you record it? She's like, I'm not thinking to record this in this moment. I'm
Yep.
trying to save my life. Because I'm like, I just want to see. She'll say, I'm difficult to deal with. Sometimes I'm just dead weight. Like, she can't get me out the bed. And like, then when she does get me, it's like I'm fighting her off. She tells me I revert to like a toddler, like a 3-year-old toddler who
Yes.
does not want to be bothered.
Tantrums.
Yep, she says you're just a big kid when your sugar's low. I hate it, but I have to. I'm trying to save your life, and you acting stupid and just throwing temper tantrums and just being a 3-year-old. I'm like, I don't remember.
Right. And
I don't remember anything.
when you say I got it, that means you don't got it.
Yep. So yeah, she has more anxiety
Mhm.
around the low blood sugars than I do. Again, from her past experience, seeing a lifeless person there, or seeing a person who can't, seeing your loved one kind of just like out of it, completely out of it. And she's, thankfully she's, like I said, my wife, she used to do EMT training. So like she's really equipped under pressure to handle those situations. But yeah.
Right. And as we do wind down, something I do in these recordings is give opportunity to give flowers to those that have been by our sides, those that have kept us up, alert, awake, and basically have resuscitated us at times. Because if not for them by our sides, like, where will we be today, truly? So in this space, I just want to take some time out to give flowers to your wife, Nia, because of her, I'm able to see you today. Because of her, you're more strengthened. I'm sure it has placed a heavy mental toll and load on her, but I know she's seen you from your weakest and darkest to where you are today. Because like you said, today you don't have the fears. And today she's like, okay, go ahead away. But just know I'm checking in on you, babe.
Keep the phone on loud. Keep the phone on loud. Because I don't know anyone who keeps their phone on loud. But like she's like, nope, I don't care. You're going to sleep. Your phone loud. All right. Yep. But also, Nia definitely has held it down. But prior to us like getting married, it was like I still have a community, like my homies, like my homies from Durham. Prior to us getting married and like obviously moving in together, they had my Dexcom. They were on the Follow app. When I had roommates, like 4 of my homies, my closest homies, still had the Follow app. Just they're on pause. So like we do like a guys trip, or we'll go, out of town when it's just us. Like they know what's up. They all have Nia's number. they're checking in on her, but they also follow my app. Yo, Steve, before I go to sleep, they're like, yo, bro, make sure you get something to eat. They bring in like apple juice to the room. We keep on the side of the bed. So like it really is a community. Once we got married, Dave was like, I'm good. Nia, he your problem because y'all live together now, but they still, they still are there for sure. They show up for me when I do any event for diabetes or promoting diabetes. They definitely got my back as well.
Right. Shout out to the squad, for real. What's some good advice you've received since you've been living with type 1 diabetes that you could share or give to community?
So I'm gonna tell you the advice that changed my life. I don't know if it's good or not, but this is getting me back in high school. This is on my third DKA and second DKA in, I don't know, 4 months. I went to the hospital and Dr. Jean, I'm in a hospital bed, like IV in my arm. She's like, coming, like whispers in my ear, like, so you're 16, you run track, you want to run the rest of your life? Do you want to be 30 with blurry vision? Do you want me to like chop your toes off? Do you want to not feel your fingertips? So she's just started like listing all the things. In my mind, I'm thinking she starts like, I'm just like, I'm scared. I don't know what she's talking about. Do you want me to start taking your toes and then eventually your whole foot and then your leg, and you want to be like an amputee or like walking around with no legs at all? Or like, do you ever want to play basketball? Do you ever want to run track again? Do you ever want to like feel the earth between your toes? And she's just like listening off all this. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm like, yo, you tripping, yo? And I'm like, yeah, bro, duh. I'm like, she's like, or when you get older, you want to have a family. Do you want to like, you're 16. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you're having sex and all that, but do you want to, have a family and all that stuff? I'm like, yeah, duh. And she's like, well, you got two options. One is you can keep doing what you're doing now, going on this track and not taking insulin, not taking medicine. And I'll see you at early 30s and you'll have a lot of these complications because you're 16 now. That means you got about 14 years and you got to keep doing this for 14 years. I guarantee you one of those three things I'm telling you are going to happen. Or just take your insulin. She just said, just take your insulin. She said, I know she said, I'm not telling you to be perfect. I'm not telling you to not eat sweets. I'm not telling you not to go to the Chick-fil-A and get a milkshake. She said, I am telling you don't do that every day. But she said, look, you're 16. I know you got off-campus lunch. Your friends are doing it. You're in high school. If you're going to do it, just take your insulin before or take some extra. She said, again, don't worry about, because at that point, I wasn't even taking insulin. So she was like, if I could just get you to take insulin, we could figure it out. We could figure everything else out at a later date. If you want to eat like a truck driver, she told me, if you want to eat like a truck driver, just take your insulin. Granted, your diet is not going to be the best, but if you're taking insulin, that alleviates at least half of the stuff you're dealing with. We can worry about your blood sugar control. We can worry about all those things later. So that always stuck with me. Like, I seriously have a sweet tooth. I think y'all knew from this weekend. Like, I'm gonna eat snacks. I do care, but like, I'm just gonna shoot up a little extra. So that always stuck with me. Just like, it doesn't matter. Like, we can't eat sugar. We can't eat sugar. Everything in moderation for sure. But I think the advice I would give to the community is, obviously check your numbers, but do your pre-bolus. Sometimes you might get it right, but take your insulin regularly. I think that for me, at least, that again, it helps. That's half of the battle right there. Like, yeah, you're going to have some days you didn't get it right, highs and lows. Mm-hmm. But as long as you are actively taking your insulin multiple times a day when you need to take it, when you're eating things, everything else can kind of figure itself out with your numbers and the target range and all those good things. So I don't know if that's the best advice, but that's just the advice that changed my life.
That is great advice. I'm going to let you know that because many people don't know that even upon diagnosis, like, your body doesn't have insulin. Insulin is used to do so many things, break down carbohydrates into energy. Like, you need it. You don't want your blood to become acidic. Even if you just take the slightest amount sometimes, you just have to take it because we know before 1922, there was no alternative, no option.
Yeah. Folks were dying for real.
People were dying because they didn't have insulin. So shout out to Dr. G, because that's some great advice, and it's needed to be shared with the community, especially for newly diagnosed people.
Yeah.
As we do end, I have to ask you this one question that I ask everyone. So someday, maybe not today, tomorrow, a year from now, whatever, but someday, one day, we speak it into existence. You will wake up and you will get messages from people saying, Steve, have you checked your Dexcom? My Dexcom has been reading at 80 all night. I got up, had some coffee, ate some breakfast, and it's still at 80 when typically it rises up a little bit. But on this day, you find out that everyone, not just you, everyone across the globe that has been living with type 1 diabetes has been fully cured. On that day, you find out, Steve, that you've been cured of living with type 1 diabetes. What do you do?
I'm super spiritual, so thank God first and foremost. I be just crazy. I be thinking about that. I haven't thought about like everyone in the world, but I've definitely thought about like me. Like, it's crazy because some days I have really good sugar days, and I'm like, oh, I'm healed. Because like I promise, some days it's like
Diabetes gone.
I can eat a lot, and my sugar will be like 95 to 120, like all day, no matter what I eat. And I'm like, and I don't take it. I take a little bit of insulin, then I go low. I'm like, oh, I'm healed. But no, on that day, man, I would thank God. I probably make a crazy post. I probably call folks. I call probably everybody I know with diabetes. But I'll be happy. I'm ripping this Dexcom out for sure. But honestly, no, I'm waiting for like 2 days I'm waiting for like a week because I'm like, I do it. I've done it so many times. It's like I wake up, have a good day. Oh, I'm not taking insulin. I tell my wife, I'm healed. She's like, okay, I believe you. And then like 2 days later, it's like, 297, 2 arrows up. I'm like, dang it, I'm not healed right now. But no, I'm super ecstatic. I'm happy. I'm probably celebrating somehow. I don't know. I'm doing something social media. I'm going somewhere. I'm getting up with all the diabetics wherever they at, and we gonna have a big old block party or something. That'd be really dope.
Because as you said, like I just think about all of the things we will be able to do and accomplish without the added burden that financially, mentally, physically, like all of that, like we'll be able to do so much more. So on that day when you're cured, when the community is cured, we'll come together and we'll be able to help out with the next chronic health condition. Help them find a cure towards that. And it would just be amazing. My good brother Steve, I truly appreciate you for joining me on this journey that is the Chronically Well podcast, where we have real conversations with community that need to be heard. Because Steve, you're someone that truly deserves to be heard. And we look forward to seeing you and hearing you out there in the world.
Appreciate you, brother. I need an extra large hoodie. I'm an extra large.
Got you. I got you, good brother.
Send me my Addy, bro. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.